Hi, this is Shannon. Thanks for joining me on the channel tonight. This is No Shelf Control. I have another single book review that I would like to tell you about tonight. It is a book that I gave 5 stars to, and it is a rom-com. So something a little different than what we usually talk about on the channel, but something that I am very excited to share with you. So why don't I get started telling you about the book? The book is called The Overdue Life of Amy Byler, and it is by Kelly Harms. It was published May 1st, 2019 by Lake Union Publishing, and it is 328 pages. I did this one on audiobook. It went really fast. And as I said, I totally enjoyed it. So let's talk a little bit about the synopsis, and then I will tell you my thoughts. It did win a Goodreads Choice Award for Fiction in 2019, so that's worth knowing. And here is the synopsis. Overworked and underappreciated, single mom Amy Byler needs a break. So when the guilt-ridden husband who abandoned her shows up and offers to take care of their kids for the summer, she accepts his offer and escapes rural Pennsylvania for New York City. Usually grounded and mild-mannered, Amy finally lets her hair down in the city that never sleeps. She discovers a life filled with culture, sophistication, and, with a little encouragement from her friends, a few blind dates. When one man in particular makes quick work of Amy's heart, she risks losing herself completely in the unexpected escape. And as the summer comes to an end, Amy realizes too late that she must make an impossible decision. Stay in this exciting new chapter of her life, or return to the life she left behind. But before she can choose, a crisis forces the two worlds together, and Amy must stare down a future where she could lose both sides of herself and every dream she's ever nurtured in the beat of a heart. So, I don't know. The synopsis makes it sound a lot more serious to me than it really was. I thought it was just a really fun read. I totally related to the protagonist, Amy Byler. I'm not a single mom, and that was not the crux of it for me. Although she is in a situation where her husband went abroad and just never came home, left her for 3 years. Left her with the kids. She has a job as a librarian. She's a librarian. And so there's a lot of book talk in this book, which I really loved. But, you know, she doesn't have the kind of job that can pay all of the bills and maintain the lifestyle that she had been accustomed to in a 2-income family. So she struggles both with the heartbreak of losing her husband in this unexpected way and, you know, trying to make things work day to day and make ends meet. She has 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Part of the story is actually told in her daughter's diary entries, which is really interesting to me. That was not the part of the book that I loved the most, but I do love an alternative format. And so the diary entries were very interesting. I just really connected with Amy Byler. She gets the opportunity to go to New York City. She lives in rural Pennsylvania as a librarian. She gets the chance to go to New York City for a librarian's conference. She has a great idea for a reading program that she actually wants to talk about at this conference. And it was so interesting to me. I really loved her idea. You know, obviously it's not her idea, it's Kelly Harms' idea, but I loved the idea. I loved, you know, what she was trying to do with kids and books. I thought that was a really interesting part of the story. But she goes to New York City where she has a friend, and this friend is an editor at a magazine. She's supposed to let her stay in her apartment, and there's some confusion about all of that. But basically, once she gets there, the friend decides that they want to do a feature at the magazine about a single mom who is sort of getting a glamour makeover. And they call it a momspringa, which is really funny. And I loved the term that they use throughout the book. They call it the momspringa. And they basically spend time getting her dressed up and doing her hair and makeup, things that she doesn't spend any time on in her regular life. So give her a bit of a makeover, take her to, you know, yoga classes and cycling classes and let her do all of these things. And in the meantime, she goes on a couple of blind dates. That's also part of the momspringa. Well, she meets a gentleman at the librarian's conference that she really falls hard for, really is attracted to. They seem to get along really well. He's a sexy librarian himself. And I will tell you, one of the things I loved about this story is he's a sexy Asian librarian. So I find that most of the time, unless the protagonist is Asian herself, the love interest is never Asian. So I was thrilled that this guy is a sexy Asian guy that she falls for hard. So they start dating, and she's supposed to be in New York City for a few days. As it turns out, she gets the opportunity to do some additional things. Her husband, who has come back from overseas and is trying to build a relationship with the children after 3 years of being absent, agrees to spend more time with them over the summer. So he's basically going to keep them for the whole summer. She now has the entire summer to do what she wants in New York City because she's a librarian. She's out of school. And, you know, the doors are just opening up for her. Well, you know, she goes through a lot of conflict, and the conflict was definitely, you know, also the not taking care of yourself, you know, sort of not doing your hair and makeup and sort of getting off track as you become a mom. I could relate to that. I could also relate to the idea that she really struggled with leaving her kids in her husband's care for the summer, needing that break desperately, but also not wanting to be unneeded. You know, who is she? What's her identity if the kids don't need her? So I really related to that. I felt like the Amy Byler character was so real. I felt like Kelly Harms did an incredible job, you know, mining her feelings and making her seem believable. She's not sexless and joyless. She's just forgotten how to be those things, you know, how to be sexy and joyful. And, you know, she gets the opportunity to explore all of that over a summer. Now, there is a bit of a drama at the end of the book, and you'll have to wait and see what that's all about. But it does sort of bring to a head this idea, you know, is she going to pursue the life that is about her and, you know, about her coming into her own? Or is she going back to her life, you know, with the kids in rural Pennsylvania? And, you know, how is she going to come to a decision about that? And what's it going to look like? You know, and what's going to happen to the sexy librarian? So I just really enjoyed this book. I felt like it was real. I felt like it was timely. I listened to this book during COVID and quarantine. So a lot of the talk about New York City and all of the things she got to do were especially exciting to me because I was stuck in my house, you know, and I think that feeling of being, you know, a mom, you know, and trapped with your family was particularly profound during the COVID quarantine. So I'm sure I had a slightly different take on it than I might if I read it today, but it was great for me. I really enjoyed it. And rom-coms are not my first choice. I can absolutely enjoy a rom-com. Usually they're a little too light and fluffy for me, predictable, maybe a little trite. I just didn't find that with this one. Some people in their reviews, and I always read the reviews after I read the book, said they were disappointed that Amy was only depicted as a reflection of her relationships with other people. I'm not sure that was unintentional. I think that that's exactly the point. That's often as moms, we become nothing more than a reflection of our relationships with other people. And that this book was really about Amy Byler finding Amy Byler, you know, and where she had gone after years of being married and then a single mom and, you know, trying to keep everything together. What happened to Amy Byler? So, you know, I found that criticism interesting, but, you know, I really think that the folks who gave that criticism may have missed the point. That's what this book was about. So I hope you will check this out. It is a fun romp of a rom-com that you may, if you're a parent, you may really relate to. And if you love books, there's a lot of book talk in there because she is a librarian. I know that all of my viewers are book lovers and that you guys usually love a book that has a literary undercurrent. So you will definitely find that in this one. As I said, I gave it 5 stars. It's a different kind of 5 stars than some of the other books I've talked about recently, but still definitely a book that I absolutely loved. And I think that you can have 5 stars that reflect different things and different genres, different types of books. So I would definitely say this was a 5-star rom-com for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click like and subscribe. It helps me to understand what it is that you enjoy on this channel and allows me to do more of it. I do also have a wish list at the bottom of my video descriptions. If you'd like to give me a book, go to that link. Bookshop.org will send the book directly to me. I will read it, do a review, and give you a shout out on the channel, just like I did the other day for the book that I received from another viewer. So again, I hope you continue to come back and watch, and we will talk again soon. Take care. Bye.